Hello and welcome to the first video in the MB Sportshub video training series covering the Game Officials module. This video will be a quick introduction. We're going to talk about what the Game Officials module is and some of the people that it affects. So very quickly, the Game Officials module, because the MB Sportshub platform is designed to be the principal location for the schedules for an association, we're then able to identify which of those games are home non-tournament games and would normally require officials to be assigned to them. Now, the MB Sportshub platform is cross-sport, so we do hockey and baseball, softball, ring ed, and many other sports. The Game Officials module is also cross-sport. For the purposes of this demo, we're going to be looking at a hockey site, however, so when we're talking about game officials, we're going to be talking about referees and timekeepers. But the system will be set up for whatever sport your association is using, and the Game Officials module and the terminology for the positions applied in the Game Officials module would be relevant to your sport. In addition, we will set up the default qualifications by position per sport, given what the defaults typically are in Ontario, Canada. However, any of those certifications and qualifications and even the positions themselves are all configurable on a per association basis, should our defaults not match what you'd like to use. Now, the Game Officials module is going to look at 5 different types of people. They are the assigner, which is the person who is responsible for setting up and managing the Game Officials module, as well as scheduling the referees or the umpires or timekeepers to their games. The official would be the person who is either, again in hockey, either the referee or timekeeper. The officials will have logins set up to the website where they can communicate their intentions by either confirming or denying assignments, and their ability to do so is actually also configurable. There is a supervisor, which is a person who is typically responsible for monitoring the performance of the officials, and we make reports available for them to be able to get schedules of the officials and to even filter that schedule by qualification. There's a coordinator, which is the person who might be responsible with making sure that if somebody doesn't show up, that they can find out where that person is or find a suitable replacement in a short-term basis. And lastly is a portal webmaster. The Game Officials module comes with what we call a custom portal site for the officials. So once logged in, the officials will go to the portal site and they will use that to predominantly check their schedules. However, since it is a portal, you can also post information such as news articles or events that only the officials would be able to see. The portal webmaster is the person who would have access to submitting new information to that portal. Now, there are a number of configuration options available, and these are things that are actually controlled by the association. So whoever is the assigner or the assigners for the association would need to talk to the primary administrator for that same association on that website to make sure that these configurations are set up to the way that they would like them to be. So within the MB Sports Web demo site, we are looking at the System Administration module, and then under Setup and Settings, the Official Settings. This page will only be available if the Game Officials module has been enabled for your association. So each of the settings that are available on this page have a description as far as what they are for, but just to quickly go through them. The minimum days to deny setting controls how far away from the date of a game where an official who has not yet replied could deny that game. So for example, if an official has been assigned to a game on Friday and today is Monday, because this is set to being 5 days, that official would not have the option anymore to use the website to deny the game. Setting this value to 0 eliminates the ability for officials to deny games at all, and in order to be removed from the game, they would need to contact the assigner. The minimum days to self-swap is a feature that allows somebody who's been assigned to a game to swap it to another person in the site. The site will automatically filter those who are both available and qualified based on the parameters that you set in the Game Officials module. While not a lot of associations are currently using this feature, if you do choose to turn it on, we recommend that the self-swap number of days is set further off in the distance than the days to deny, which would allow the official who's been receiving the swap from another official the opportunity to deny it to say if they're not able to do it. The auto confirmation option If that is on, that means that the officials won't have a button that they need to click to confirm a game. As soon as they have viewed it on the website, and in some cases viewing it in their email, will auto confirm the game and indicate that they are confirmed to attend and to do that game. The show names on the team schedule option, there is a page within the control panel that's available for the team level webmasters where they can see the schedule of their own games and whether or not officials have been assigned to those games, which allows them as a nice cross-reference to ensure that there will be officials coming for their games. By default, it does not show the names of the officials, but you can turn that on so that not only would those people be able to see whether or not people are assigned, but they could also see who they actually are so they can prepare payment for the game or whatever else they need to prepare ahead of time. Showing the official city on the assignment form. This would allow you to see very quickly if you were looking at a regional center and you had officials that were from various cities in the system, where those officials are located, and use that within the context of assigning a game. The days before an unconfirmed assignment warning email. So when a assigner assigns an official to a game, what happens is an email is sent to the official letting him know that they've been assigned. And depending on all the parameters up above versus on the days to deny and the auto confirmation, by default the official will have to come back to the website to either confirm or deny that they're able to do that game. Now if they don't respond at all, then this setting will determine how many days to wait before sending a warning email back to the assigner that such and such a person has not responded in any way. 14 days is a lot. We would usually recommend this being set to 2 or 3, meaning that if somebody hasn't responded within a couple of days, they're probably not coming, and therefore you want to assign somebody else. The maximum number of user submitted team blocks and the maximum number of user submitted venue blocks. The officials have the ability to submit their own time blocks to indicate when they're not available, but in addition to that, if you can configure how many team and venue blocks they can enter in the system. The venue blocks would be useful if it's a younger official who perhaps doesn't have a vehicle, then they're biking to their games. If some of those venues that you have in your site are too far for them to get to, then they could be able to block out those venues. The same thing with the team blocks. If an official is on a team, then they can perhaps block out their own team, which would prevent them from being scheduled for that team. It doesn't have anything to do with that team's actual schedule, though. Those would go in manually as time blocks. And in any case, the number of the number of team and venue blocks that you submit is unlimited. The assigner can put as many as they want. This just limits how many the officials themselves can put in to prevent the cases where officials might be blocking some of the younger teams if they want to cherry pick and not be assigned to those games. So that's a list of the settings that are available, and there might be more added at some point in the future. And all these settings are, again, they are configured by the association's primary administrator for the website. The assigner does not have access to these particular settings because we do think that it's something the association would like to have input on. The other thing that the primary administrator for the website will need to do is to set up the assigner. That is done within the System Administration module under Manage Users and View All Users. If we click to add a new user, we can give that person a username, a password, and their real name and email address. On the Control Panel Roles tab, the option that you want to make sure an assigner has is the assigner role. The assigner role is assigned globally, which means they'll have access to all the teams in the site, and you can set an expiration date for that role. Click Add Update Role, Insert Notify, and that would then send an email to the assigner that they've been set up with access to the Game Officials module. Now at this time, anybody who has been set up in the system with the assigner role will automatically be notified whenever a game is changed that affects the scheduling of officials. In the future, however, we will change that so that the assigner role doesn't automatically notify. We have another setting underneath email administration and email settings which allows you to declare a carbon copy to a carbon copy of assignable non-league or travel games to a specific address, and then you can also carbon copy assignable house league games to other addresses.